After a short walk, they came upon the entrance of a cave. Opening led them into a tunnel because of the presence of a bright natural glow. Was little baffled to see this light because of the top of the tunnel was sealed and was further. On the other side, the grand opening was at the tunnel. Tunnel, and there was still bright. Maybe these are from the platform was entirely with tiger skin that carved enormous gradient triangle laws of gravity. They guarded the majestic gradient. The whole setup was noted depictions of Lord Shiva meditating in portrait. Always suppose that these ideas must have been fragrant of the imagination of Lord Shiva, but he was not. There you could observe the station he had enough of. Those portraits and reality now was absence of Lord Shiva himself. All waited for Ashwatthama to finish his observations but the place was forever forbidden. Find himself in the lap of forces mightier than him, that forces creation, destruction, and transformation which jointly sustain the universe. He could feel the sublime beauty pass through him in waves, charging the very fabric of his being, subsequently the whole gamut. Om was snapped out of his trance by a peculiar sound. He turned around to find that it came from a flightless bird that fluttered in brownish gray plumage, tapped its yellow feet, and had a tuft of tail feathers, a grey naked head, and a black beak. The bird was about 1 meter tall, and judging from its gait, one could deduce that it weighed approximately 15 kg. It seemed to be a bird whose last confirmed sighting on Earth was in year 1662. Dodo, he let out a loud whisper. The bird immediately noticed the unfamiliar man, staring at it, and wandered further into the shrubs. Om found Ashwatthama still on his knees with his eyes closed, so he decided to take a closer look at the bird, which had disappeared centuries ago and was declared extinct. Having encountered numerous beasts and birds during his prolonged lifetime, Holmes had become adept at identifying and responding to other creatures around him. He tiptoed in the direction of the bird and stood near the bushes it had disappeared into. There he discovered another large flightless bird about 2.5 feet tall. It trotted about with its black back and a wide belly, looking almost weighted down by a heavy black beak with grooves on its surface, a white band stretching between the eyes, almost almost weighted down by a heavy black beak with grooves on its surface. A white black stretching bits of tiny black eyes. The wings appeared only around 15 centimeters long, rendering the bird flightless. It was another extinct species of birds that CITES tasked in 1852. Called the Great Auk. Great Auks were gifted swimmers which made them impeccable hunters underwater like The dodo. It too sends Holmes' scratching gaze and shortened away, spotting two extinct species in a matter of minutes added to Holmes' increasing astonishment, and so he let his curiosity drive him to tail the bird. When the great oak dove down a cliff, Holmes came to an abrupt halt. बाप रे मेरे पैर कैसे लग रहे हैं abrupt halt at the unexpected lands and the edge a lake appeared. He and out of nowhere he took cautious step towards it. The lake looked like a perfectly flat disk of metal. It was exceptionally serene due to shimmering vacant space around it. The placid spectacle took Holmes' breath away. The heaven leaking light added a golden tint to the face of the lake. Holmes felt heaven on earth. He was not sure if it was still on earth or not. Maybe it was true. Maybe Kailash was indeed the only connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. Holmes was startled at his own epiphany. He never achieved such potent tranquility before he closed his eyes to let the stillness of the surroundings settle on him. But at that exact second, something disrupted the mystery water, making him snap his eyes open. The movement was relatively close to him. The metal disappeared to the multi-dimensional. The creature moved like them. Another 40 feet long that seemed to weigh tons surfaced from the water. It was stellar sea cow, another extinct herbivorous mammal. The last recorded stellar sea cow had been sighted at the end of the 17th century. Before one could register odd sightings of fauna that had disappeared from the rest of the world, he noticed that the sea cow was casually accompanied by a group of 20 feet long beige white dolphins, also known as the Chinese river dolphins, lapping towards the shore. As per Holmes' knowledge, these creatures had been officially declared extinct in 2002. As his eyes followed the dolphins near the shore, he spotted a towering violet plant with thick light green leaves and light violet flowers. This beautiful species had last been sighted in the 50s. Was again engrossed in the silence did not last long. Suddenly, dry leaves crunched behind him, and Om turned toward the sound, which was coming from some distant shrubs. The shrubs were coffea lambili, tall with white blossoms and peeling papery bark. They were last seen in 1907. He walked a few steps towards the bushes, expecting the dodo or the great oak to be behind them, but he had his steps in a heartbeat. Once he realized that what he heard was no flightless bird but a carnivorous creature which was almost twice the size of a lion and lived 11,700 years ago. It was a splendid series of saber-toothed tiger, only that he had become a prey to the beast that could easily tear apart and further. There was a little crazy reason that the predator could Holmes knew this was inescapable ground he was standing on. How could he possibly outturn this natural script in this vast terrain? He was stumped, his legs felt glued to the earth. That's when the beast did what it knew best. The distance between them diminished in no time as it rushed towards home with its heavy and bulky paws, releasing sharp nails and an open paw. Maw लिखा है. The roar that rumbled from the beast and the loudest Om had heard made us travel down Om's spine, leaving a trail of goosebumps behind. It was now a matter of seconds before Om would experience excruciating pain that would be enough to kill a mortal. The beast took its final step before leaping on its prey. Om's survival instinct loosed the grip of his feet on the earth, and he knew he had to defend himself no matter what. The two collided in wild fury, the saber-toothed meeting Om with swipe to get out of the fight. average and taller than an average human, came like thunder from the sky, the predator and the prey. The saber-tooth collided with new and then the impact threw both the beast and the wish man a little hard to believe even for a man like him. The beast started falling back as I pushed. The savior turned towards him and who could now take a better look at his future. He was a monkey-headed human with a monkey for taking to his somewhere Lord Hanuman, but not him. One who could tell the difference here. Lord Hanuman in the Ramayana era as Shushek, who had suggested Sanjeevani Booty to save Lakshman's life. Here you are, exclaimed the heavy voice of the cursed immortal, bringing out of the bizarre experience of the hidden city. The world famous Mount Kailash turned around and found Ashwatthama smiling, looking at the monkey man. The monkey man approached and greeted him by going low with his hand joints in respect. Stinged home blurted out in murder. Yes, that is why they are present here. The very last one of them. Picked up a straight twig from our timeline starts from there here. He experienced in the small section on multiplies. Comes to the draw diagonal line from left to right, which is followed by Dwapar. You like this. नहीं दिखा ये 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 Make it director and at the time of slightly without lifting it and colored from there. He drew another line from right to left. Once this color ends, call the student from a start the next paragraph and a line connecting to it is to it starting point. And so the cycle continues repeating itself. As he said this, he ran the click stick through the diagram depicting the strokes deeper. It was an infinity symbol on him and found more such right out, especially a small wish of life lady declared extended in 2014 beside a Sigelia tree growing tall, which had existed 380 million years ago. A West African black rhinoceros weighing 5 to 2 tons and bearing 2 horns, last seen in Cameroon in 2006 and declared officially extinct in 2011. The Pyrena ibex that fed mainly on grasses and herbs, the last of its kind killed in 2000, found himself standing amidst the most flourishing natural habitat, surrounded by every part part 2. This is Rish Kapi. He is one of he is the last of his kind called Kim Prushu or Kapi. Kapi repeated Om as if on cue. The huge monkey man roared. Jai Hanuman Gyangun Sagar Jai Kapi The ape man spoke in a voice heavier than a man's face. He ended, I'm the last of the Kapi species in the first line of Hanuman Chalisa. And also the guardian of this territory of our society, completed Ashwatthama with a smile reciprocated by the Kapi. Thank you for protecting me, Wish Kapi. I was not sure if I could make it. I would make it home, said humbly. That was just my cutie. He likes hunting. I just conveyed to him that you are of him, said Wish Kapi. With Thanos said his smile. Called that giant cutie. Always was tickled by the name. Bishop is very creative with the names. Named Ashwatthama with a chuckle. Oh, and who are you? What are you doing here, Kapi? I am trying to figure that out. Stuttered a confused one. When Ashwatthama stepped into the tunnel, he walked out of the dusky sky into ample sunshine. And I'm here stared for a moment and see they were really different times. With hardly a few meters of distance had managed to create a stark difference in the blank horizon. There was a transparent wall between Om and Ashwatthama, which were dim in the debris of a sun, moon, day, night, reality, and dream. Rush Kapi stood at the invisible boundary and viewed goodbye to both of them. He noticed a movement on his right hand and shouted at the daughter, Tara, I have told you, see what I'm not to walk on the side. But I mastered Hama and Om were back to at the vacant stone platform. Om took this opportunity to ask another question. You mentioned my you mentioned my first home, the abode of Dhanvantri. How did you know that I lived here in the Himalayas? We did not your existence until we meet him, who knew everything about you. Only stood curious. He did not know what Thama was suffering. Noticing the anxiety on him, she said, to meet him. And at the feet of her sailor was not the only curious man in search of answer. There were questions being raised at a distance of extra 272 kilometers feet below level 2. Nagendra glared at both the books on his head open and as I said what he wanted, the secret of what is still have one question itself. So I thought that his plans for doing slap the books behind him, but I am as if legends of the past. At 10 degree north, 90 degree east, around 560 km from Indra Point, the southernmost part of India's territory, a humongous submarine maneuvered its way through the depths of the ocean. The submarine was almost 2 football fields long, as wide as 3-lane highway. Two steam turbines producing 50,000 horsepower and four and कहाँ गया and four 3,200 kW turbo generators provided a sailing speed of 41.1144 km per hour on the surface and 53.708 km per hour and estimating vessel was maintained by a crew of about 100 who worked shift. Common lobby of the submarine Nagin was busy plotting a plan with Parimal and SD headquarters of the shoulders to Kailash Puram. Nagin composedly studiously started walking towards his chamber, indicating that their short meeting was over. Parimal and SD followed and made their way to the command center. They would have determined the shortest route to Diga beach from their present location while evading the Indian Navy. Here are common pages. Symbols. What appears to be the times. अच्छा ये तो दे चुके हैं, जो पहले था वही है. ठीक है, एक्नोलॉजमेंट है. The spontaneous change of the route caused a stir of anxious breath at Parimal, which became evident as he spoke. Climbing Mountain Kailash is forbidden. According to legends and writings, no mortal person may climb Kailash. Don't board of the Dares to start towards the top of the mountain and see the faces of the little come to that. It is said that the only person who have ever been to the scared mountain was Malripa, and that is in front of me again. Sending objection to the mention of Malripa and for grand commercial work here and to the halted abruptly before a waterside tomb. It had been metal secured with a strictly lights and board spelling restricted and bold red mark and made it clear that no other person on the ship was allowed to exit the door. सो गई थी भाई। दिल का जो हाल है सनम, कैसे बयां करूं। कैसे बयां करूं, कैसे बनाऊं मैं और तो एक्टिव के लोग सब्सक्राइब मारे है। प्लीज़ मैसेज करो अगर कोई है तो। यहाँ लगने जाती है गति गति। रोशनी 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 मैसेज करो। श्रेया रोशनी, रोशनी IITN है। रोशनी तुम्हारे मुकेश जी तुमसे पूछ रहे हैं यार, मेरे को पता है रोशनी बर्तन वर्तन मांज रही होगी ना, इसीलिए मैसेज नहीं कर रही है, वरना वो करती है ज़रूर। सिंगल है, जिसको आना है उसको पटा लो। रोशनी हो और श्रेया हो, ज़रूर से ज़रूर पटाओ। बर्तन धुल रही क्या रोशनी? बर्तन धुल रही थी क्या? ओह, सो गई थी मैं। दिल का चाहत है सनम कैसे बयां करूं कुछ हो गई है नहीं पढ़ रही वेट to his move had continued to narrate in a hush was material known as his access mundi or the access of the earth suspended within the celestial pole. The ecosystem naturally regulates to create a habitable environment for all living beings. Pilgrims and others visit the area around the mountain have reported rapid growth of nails with a small 12 eyes. Growth, which would usually take 2 weeks under normal condition, even while in the mountains vicinity, the time travels fast. Something which is not witnessed anywhere travels faster. Something which is not witnessed anywhere else in the world. The mountain has air that causes accelerated aging. The nose will subside, but the multi-layered discarded the cloth carelessly before opening his laptop. He continued to speak. Another profound mystery of mountain chaos is its geographical position with respect to the Earth's pole and other other ancient mountain. It cannot be considered that distance from mountain North Pole is 66 kilometers and 13,300 kilometers to the South Pole. Exactly twice. This is the North Pole for some inexplicable reason. The distance between the Egyptian and the North Pole is also 666 kilometers. Perimeter should be left to look at this particular electron period forward from the North Pole is 66 levels tower 66 strong the Bermuda Triangle 66 rank to the star 66 next highlighted Tajumal 66 66 as LSD started at the number still at the numbers in this movement continued to chant everything he knew about the Arctic mountain, the highest peak of the world mountain versus 29,200. Yeah, it has been scaled by more than 4,000 people. Mountain Kailash is almost 4,780 feet high, which is 7,291 feet less than Mountain Everest. Mount Everest. Mount Kailash. Okay, Mount Kailash, Mount Everest. Yet numerous women have failed at climbing the mountain. Even with severe extensive strength that no could handle. Life of Mirappa in one of the Tibet's most favorite legend preserved orally for centuries. We cannot know how much to factual true events so through the Mirappa licenses have reputation and innumerable numbers of this of Tibet's dynastic as a saga of great rebellion against Nemon's match. Restoration refers born in 1030 in the village of Kyana, Western Bengal, named Milathupappa, which means a joy to hear. He was a prospectus, one of his family name Jose indicated noble descendants from the eagle Kinthugappa and his city sisters where the villagers eventually his father grew very ill and realized he was dying, calling his extended family to his deathbed. So was father directed that his state be cared for by his mother and sister until Mirappa came of age and got married. But as soon as Mirappa's aunt and uncle would take their brother still within us, second thought they reverted property to Nelson disowned Thoppa along with his mother and sister. Now outcasts, the little family lived in servant quarters. They were given meager food and clothing were made to labor in the fields. The children were malnourished, dragged and covered with lice. Those who once showered them with affection were now demeaning them with pleasure. When Thugapa turned 15, his mother tried to reclaim his inheritance with great effort. She scrapped the every last bit of her paltry resources to prepare a feast for her extended family and former friends. When the guests had eaten, she stood holding her head high. She recalled exactly what her husband had said on his day that went, and she demanded that Thugapa, given the inheritance his father had intended for him, but the courteous aunt and uncle blankly lied that the estate actually never belonged to them, and so Thugapa had nothing to give. They forced the mother and children out of the servant quarters, and it was the family resorted to begging and odd jobs to sell up. The mother had shot for the stars for her Thugapa lost even the roof protecting them. Now she seemed that with hatred for her husband. Sally urged her son to study sorcery. I will kill myself before you rise, she told him, if you do not attain vigilance. Impelled by his mother's weakness and entreaty, Thugapa found a sorcerer, a just man who had mastered the black arts and became the initiate the sorcerer taught him only effectual chance, but once he learned about his wealth, but the injustice turned to Thugapa, he relented, passed over to him source of sea. Letting the driver request everyone to tell the greedy pair. Thugapa deemed it fair that they survived the disaster and now gave him a chance to make their confront ultimate conclusion by their own mother gave him the bottle as she wrote to her son and demanded that he destroy their corpses for the abundance only his own darkness alone monstrous he exchanged to demolish the vehicle of the religious affected and waste on it the predators. No one knows what he did in India alone. During those early days, said that his skin had turned green from using a white cotton robe inspector or rejected. The weather would be earned him the name Milarepa, which means Mila the cotton clad. Magic number to terrace to at the summit of Kailash and did he achieve the impossible? It is without can access Kailash would have a connection with it will his would pass later in life. According to the legend, there is what he said in the youth I committed black deeds and maturity both goods and wrapping. Destroyed the root of karmic action shall have no reason for action in the future. To say more than his would only cause weeping and laughter. What good would it tell an old man I want to be made sick? Empty mountain grass has something to do with these words. Yes, but what does Nagari have to do about yes. Even as the tale was, he died in 1935. Parmal said. As confined inside a submarine, Polygon's question about the relation between Virappa and Nagin was unanswered. In Gyanganj was about to rescue her horse Shatamavasha and learned of his existence. Took Om back to the hut he had woken up in. There stood a saint who had green skin and who was clad in a white cotton robe made with Virappa Shatamavasha. Introducing him to home, Milarepa, the man who had died in the body was actually Hilaire Hurti in the land of the Extreme. And the person in the heart of the great Dhanvantri who sat in his restricted chamber and from his Aravantika, which with paused and took his पृथ्वी कौन था यार ओके पृथ्वी There was a third place between the Nordic peaks and the ocean where the ocean discovers a green natives stage, but the Amazon constantly understands which he managed to find when the island was red and white fruits of sample completely black belt, but since through his body, they decided to put them like who it was explore the strangest world. His hypothesis and his claims his medical training and the complication possible to the blind stated just to take it a step further. He was stated to see it free of delicacy and to see the yourself as a perfect amount of pathogens working in a blood which is with all sort of antibiotics. Okay, ऐसे अगर मैंने लगा दिया, it will look very beautiful. He was at the solicitor of the Baron went it again and both the opposite were hitting themselves up this time to enter the channel, screaming the red and white will save just the way pushed on but what was pushing of agitated Mrs. Butterfly Lawford's on that the shut the jaw of 30 as his nonchalance pushing that they were once she would sit back and wait for him to complete recollecting what he had seen, no matter how pure him was to receive to immense feel of pleasure, so she was not even want to witness was seen at desperation which was nearby, so knocked on the water side door of the station and he was already there with the back and hanging from his neck when he opened the door to third now the same right followed him was in his behavior rested now the other was in the red group source on the body at a moment time to call right immediately. Confused by a shot of pile of death inside the jungle, and shut the to the about to say that there was the store told for the fulfill of the water was road which he had used as was and was brought into property. It was the first from the shores and the house at the windows had nothing but victim in the lives of vision. As they looked back to check on Pilgrim, who was still looking their back at the boat looking at their tardiness, he added them that when they unable to survey something for it, I will not suffer, I will not suffer, this story is where do we have to find this? She had started when the situation was straight out of the woods. See. मैं लाइव बंद करके जा रही थी, इतने लोग आ गए। वाओ, योर रील हैज़ मोर देन 2000 व्यूज़। ओ माय गॉड, मेरी रील में 2000 से भी ज़्यादा व्यूज़ आ गए हैं। वाह, और यहाँ पे 20 से भी ज़्यादा व्यूज़ आ गए हैं व्यूअर्स। आई लव यू गाइस, थैंक यू। कमेंट भी कर दो आ गए हो तो, और लाइक भी। माई फ़ोन इज़ बर्निंग। जो हमारा है कैसा बेचारा है। हाँ मेरे फ़ोन, मेरा फ़ोन चल रहा है, मुझे लगा था एकदम हॉट हो गया यार। बस व्यूज़ बढ़ रहे, कमेंट्स नहीं आ रहे। नो कमेंट्स, नो लाइक्स।